This is our first video covering the miniature train. This Word document that we're looking at here is available on the LMS. It'll also be linked in a Google Slides presentation that I'm building for just an overall tutorial that'll actually have the link for this video too. My suggestion would be that you would open this document up on your Chromebook so that you could build an inventor as you are looking at the document and not having to click back and forth like I'm about to. If I jump over to Inventor, I'll show you really quickly an example that I've already built. Notice it looks slightly different than what you see in the Word document. One of your requirements is that you are going to have to add some additional feature. So I've went in, extruded out this little cab, and built a little window that you can see as well. So I'm not going to show you how to do those parts. The extra feature is on you, but I will show you how to go through and build all these other things, because we're going to have to use tapped holes. We're going to have to do a work plane to build this hole as well. So there are some new features or new commands that you're going to have to learn how to use. So I'm going to start by going ahead and building a new part. I am going to start my first sketch off my front plane. To keep everything fully constrained, I am going to start at my origin, and I've built this enough times that I know the general geometry. I know a lot of the geometric features that I'm going to place, so I'm going to just start with a rectangle and a circle. And what I'm building is the front part of this train, and I'm going to extrude it back however far it needs to go here. So what I'm looking at now is the overall width of this rectangle, the overall height of this rectangle, the diameter of this circle, and how it relates location-wise back to this rectangle. So I have a 2-inch wide rectangle. Okay, I have a 0.875 inch tall rectangle. The center point of that circle is 1 inch, so equally spaced or in the middle of the rectangle, and the height of the circle is 1.375. Diameter 1.5, taking the radius, multiplying it, so I can quickly go into Inventor, make those sizes. So we said 1.5. Alright. We said 2 inches. We said 0.875. This height, center point to here was 1.375, and then I'm going to use a geometric constraint saying that the midpoint of this top line of my rectangle and the center point of my circle should be aligned so I can eliminate one dimension. So 2 inches, 0.875, 1.375, 1.5, double check, 2, 875, 1.375, radius of 0.75. Now, when I extrude this back, if I look at the dimensions that are provided to me, I have the overall depth of this train body being 5.5, and then I have the cab section being 1.75. So instead of doing the math here and taking 5.5 and subtracting 1.75, when I do the extrusion, I'm going to say back, and I'm simply going to type that in for me. I'm not going to do the math. I'm just going to use Inventor to do it, and I guess I did that a little quickly, but I literally just typed in 5.5 minus 1.75. and I can type equations into those toolbars. So I now have that. I'm going to go off the back portion of my sketch, and I'm going to build the cab portion. Now, if I look at my documentation, from this view, I don't see any of the sizes or information I need for the cab, but if you scroll down to the second portion, it does give us a rear view, and it tells us some basic information. This center point is going to give us most of the information I need. I already know the width of the cab. Okay, it's the 2 inches, just like the front was. So I need this center point though, which is left to right. It's in the middle. Its height is 0.375 because that center point gives me this arc, which gives me my overall height. So 2.35, 0.375 up from the bottom, and it's centered. So in Inventor, I'm going to draw that circle. I'm going to kind of purposely draw it not centered. I'm going to go ahead and dimension it. I think it was 2.35 times 2. I will double check. 235 times 2, so I'm good there. Height was 0.375. So I'm going to place that geometric constraint just like I did before of center point to midpoint. Then I'm going to dimension to be 0.375. And this is where it gets maybe not a little tricky, but if you noticed, once I put that geometric constraint, this yellow line popped up, that is taking this geometry and bringing it onto my sketch. So the fact that these aren't all yellow means that that geometry isn't on my sketch. It's not a part of my sketch if I went in to try to extrude something or anything like that. But that yellow line should now be a part of my sketch. So if I draw a new line, perfectly vertical, off of each side of it, I can now come in here, trim all this out, and hopefully it'll let us extrude. I might have to draw that line off the bottom, but nope, I was right. And up here, I'm just going to subtract the 5.5 or delete the 5.5 because that cab portion was 1.75. Alright, since I'm back here, I'm going to go ahead and place that hole. I'm going to do it the more advanced way and dimension it through the hole feature. So I need a hole roughly there. My reference left to right would be 1 inch. My reference line from the bottom was 0.375. Okay, and then I need to double check the actual dimensions of the hole. 1/4 inch diameter, depth of 0.5. So in my hole command, 1/4 inch diameter, it's not through all, so I need to change it to distance. The distance was 0.5. Hit OK. We're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and go to the front. This time I'll use my sketch mode. I'm going to place 3 points. I know that that middle point is going to be perfectly centered. I know that I'm going to need a dimension left to right between those guys. I know I'm going to need a dimension for that. I know that I'm going to need heights, and I know that I'm going to need a height there. If you notice, this one's turned purple, this one's turned purple, this one is not. It's because its height is not constrained, but I know that it's going to be horizontal with this first one. So now all I need to do is go in and check for my dimensions. So I'm going to scroll back up to here. This gets a little confusing. Just watch your extension lines. So if I look here, from the bottom edge to the center point of those circles is 0.125. Looking for this information next. So this circle to my bottom edge is 0.625. Now I'm looking for my left to right information. So if I go here, first circle is 0.375 inches from my left edge. The middle circle is 1 inch, which was centered, which I already placed. And then this dimensioning is a little bit different than what I put in Inventor. It says 1.625. So if I come back to Inventor, 0.375, and on this guy, same thing. 1.625 minus, and I'm actually going to link it to that dimension, and that's where it needs to be. All three of these are purple. I'm fully constrained down on the bottom. I can finish my sketch, do my hole command. I only have one sketch in my browser. It's got points. The hole command automatically references those points. So again, my dimensions. This notation here tells me that all three of those holes are 0.125 diameter, depth of 0.125 as well. Okay. That gives us the overall shape of the train body. Now we're just kind of adding more holes. I need 2 additional holes over here. They're mirrored onto the other side, and I need the hole across the top. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here because I'm running out of time, and I'm going to build a second video that shows those next 5 holes that I need.